Good afternoon, students. So today we are going to discuss an important topic in C language known as the functions. So first, let's understand what is a function and why we need a function. A function is a self-contained block of statements that perform a coherent task of same kind. A function always have its name and it can be reusable. So important point is that why we create a function, because they are reusable and they can be called from any part of the program and any number of times. So now next is type of functions. Basically we have two type of functions. One is a library function, another is a user defined function. A library function, as name suggests, are nothing but a predefined, commonly used functions that are grouped together and stored in a file known as a library. Example of the library functions are scanf, printf, string length. So there are so many library functions are user-defined functions. User-defined functions are the functions which are created by the user to do some special task or a job related to the program. So these functions are generally local to the program where they are defined. So let's discuss the user-defined functions. So function basically has three parts. One is function declaration, second one is function definition, and third one is calling a function. So let's understand what is a function declaration. A function declaration basically provides three basic informations to the compiler. And the three basic information is what is the name of a function, what will be its input parameters, and what will be the type of the input parameters and the return type. So in this you can see that I have created one program as sum. And so the name of the function is sum. It is taking two input parameters, x and y, and the type of them are int and int. And it function returning a value known as an int. You can see that in the starting of the name we have written int. So this is known as function declaration. The next part is function definition. Function definition basically define a function body which contain the actual logic, that is what a function will do. So in the previous example we have declared a function. Now we are here writing an actual logic of a function. So as you know that this function will do the sum of two numbers. So I have taken a variable answer in which I am adding two numbers and returning. So this is the actual logic of a function. So this is known as function definition. And the third one is a calling of function. So when we create a function, then we call it. So how some function will be called? Sum 5, 6. Why I am providing 5, 6? If you remember that in the previous slide, function have two input parameters of both of integer type. So that's why I'm providing it 5 and 6. So let's combine all together and then discuss functions. So this is a small program which we discussed earlier is sum of two numbers using a function. So I have created a function sum. Let's do it. Let me do it practically. So I will create a function sum which returns an integer sum. So let's understand it what I have did. I have created a one function known as sum. This will do the sum of two numbers. So first of all, we need to declare a function. So I have declared a function and telling a compiler that I am creating a function which name is sum. It will take a two parameters, both of integer type, and it will return a value of integer type. So here I am just writing a logic. Int a is the input parameters. I am doing the sum and storing the result. So let's run it. There's some error. Let's. So answer is 30 as expected. So how it works? So this is what a function is all about. So now let's see what is the advantage of using a function. I need to do the sum of another two numbers. Then I don't need to write this code again and again. I will simply call this function. So let's suppose I have int c is equal to 30 and int d is equal to 40. Now I don't need to write this statement again and again. What I will do is I will copy it here and I will pass 33 and d. Now this will do sum of a and b. This will do sum of c and d. Let's run it. Answer 30 and 7. So let's discuss some examples of the functions so that we have more understanding of the functions. So let's take a first very simple example, that is write a program to display a welcome message using function. So in this program, we just need to display a welcome message. So do we need any input parameters or any return type? No, we don't need it. So let me create a function. Just creating a simple function void. That means it will not return anything and it will not display, it will not take any input parameters. So what this simple program will do, it will just display a message, welcome to the world of functions. So let's run it. So welcome to the world of functions. So you have seen that this is a very simple function known as a display. It does not take any input parameters and it doesn't return anything. So that means it is return a void. So void means that a function will return nothing. So now let's take another example. Now this program in second example, we need to check whether the input characters is a vowel or not using functions. So what we need to do is we need to check whether it's vowel or not. So we will take, let's run that. So we will create a one function. Let's its name will be check vowel. Will it take any input parameter? Yes, because we want to check whether it's a vowel or not. And what will be the type of input parameter? Integer, float, or character? Yes, it has to be a character type. So I will say that. Correct. So in this function, what it says that the name of the function will be check vowel. It will not return anything, and it will take one input parameter which is of type character. So let's create this function. So let me enter the value from the user. I will create one variable, say char vowel. I will say printf, enter a single character. Then I will scanf. As it is a character, I will use %C, then the sign of ampersand, the name of the variable. Okay, now let's create a function. As the name of the function is check vowel, it is taking one input parameter, char, say the input parameter int char. Okay, let me take it into value. In input value, and then I need to write a logic for this. So if in val equal to a or int val equal to e, int val equal I, int var equal to o, and then say int var equal to u. Then what I need to display is the input character is a vowel. Let's display it. Printf the character. Let's print the character. Else, if it is not available, I will print that the same thing. Printf the input character is not a vowel. Now next what I need to do is I need to call this function. Let's call this function. Function name is check vowel, and I will send a variable name which is again a vowel. So once again, let me explain it. What I have done is I have created a one function check vowel. It will take input parameter of character type, only one input parameter, and it will not return anything. Then this is the function definition. That is, I am writing a logic of the program, and this is a function call. So let's execute it. So let's enter a single character. I am entering A here. So it says that input character is a vowel. So the important point here is that, as I explained earlier, is we can pass input parameters as character, can int, float, anything. So in this example, we are passing a function and argument. We can also pass a constant to the function. Let's see how. So here I am passing say z. So how this function will work? Now I'm calling the check vowel two times. First with the variable name and then second with the constant. So for this answer should be it's a vowel. If I put a vowel and here it's not a vowel. Let's execute it. If I say A, so you can see that the input character A is a vowel, the input character Z is not a vowel. So we can call a function either by a variable or by a constant value. So this is the example of function having one input parameter as a character and returning nothing. So let's move to the third example. So third example we have is write a program to calculate the total price of a product by adding a GST using functions. So let's see practically. So here what we need to do is we need to calculate a total price and there will be two input parameters. One will be price, another will be a GST, and then it will return a calculated total price. So total price will be in a float, so return type will be float. Let the function name will be as cal price. It will take two parameters. Price will be of float type and GST will be of integer type. So let's create it. Let me take float price is equal to 0, then int GST is equal to 0. Let's enter it through user printf. Enter the price of the product. Then let's set the price. So as this is float one, so I will use %f and it will be stored in a price. Now let's take GST. Enter the GST in percentage. So let's take this value. It's an integer one, so I will use %d here, and it will be stored in GST. Now let's create a function. The function will return a float. I will return a float. Function name is call price, calculate price. So I will take calculate price, float, and I will take a variable say price int as GST. So I will take a float total price is equal to price plus GST divided by 100 multiply by price to calculate the value of price. Now I have to return it. I will return it using return statement as total underscore price. So now what will happen is here total price will be returned, and now I will call a function. Function name is cal price. I need to send a price here, so I'm sending a price. Then I need to send GST. I will send as a GST here. Now I need to store a return value. This total price will be returned. I need to store here. So it will be a float type. I'll take a variable as a float. and let's see is total amount this. So now the price, this function is returning total price and store it total amount. So the I need to display the total amount variable. So let's display it printf percentage, and let's display directly percentage f, and the amount is total amount. So let's run it. Okay, it's a enter a amount. It's float, so I'm adding 10, asking a GST. I said 10%, and it has calculated me 121,011 now. So this is an example of a function which is taking a two parameters. One is a float, another is an integer, and returning a float type. Okay, so this is next is okay. So let's discuss another important topics of the functions, that is how function works internally. So I have created a program the in which I have a function known as change value. In it, I have taken a two variables. One is integer of a, which is of 10. Another variable is b, which is 20. Then I'm printing a value of a and b. Then I am calling a function change value, in which I am passing a value of a and b. And in function, I am incrementing the a by 1 and b by 1. Then I am displaying it in change function the value of a. Then after displaying it, then I am again printing the value of a and b. So let's see what will be the output of this function and try to understand how function internally works. So the important part we need to understand here is, whenever we declare any variables within a function, those variables are local to that functions and are not available to another functions. And whatever increment decrement we do in those variables will remain within that function. So in this function, in this program, we are creating a we have two functions. One is main and one is change value. So how memory will work is that function main, it will create a memory for two variables a and b. As the a value is 10, it will store 10 here. As a value is 20, it will store 20 here. So when I say printf value, it will print a value of a and b from a function main. Then I am calling a value function change value, in which I am passing a variable a and b. Now when function is called, what compiler will do? It will create another variable with same name a and b. Here a and b, another variable are created, and those values are stored in there. A will have 10 and b will have 20. Then in this function I am incrementing a plus 1. So that a will be incremented into the variables of the function, not into the main function variables. So it will become a become 11 here and b become 21 here. So when I say printf here in a function, when I say printf, it will print a value of a and b of functions, that is change value. So the output will be 11 and 21. When I go back to main function and I print the value will be printed as 10 and 20, not 11 and 21. So let's create this function and let's see. So I am creating a function known as change val. It will take two variables of integer type. Then I say main. I will create two variables, int is equal to 10 int p is equal to 10. Then I print this value in main. The value before calling function in main, percentage d, comma a, comma b. So let's first create a function that will be void change val. It will have two variables, int a, int b. So what I am doing is I'm int a is equal to a plus 1, int b is equal to b plus 1. I'm printing here printf I am in function percent d event p. Now let's call this function change val a comma b. Now let's print it. Printf the value after function call in main percent d comma a comma b. So what will be the output? So first this variable will be created and this variable will be the part of main. Then this b variable will be created. B will be the part of main. Then we display the value a and b. Then we call a function where change val. Control will come here. Then another variable of a will be created, but that variable will be the part of change value, and that variable will be totally different from the variable created in function main. Same will happen with b, and I will print this here. Its value should be 11 and 21, and when I go back to there and I print a value, it will print the value of a and b of this main function. Let's execute it. Okay, I'm declaring a serial declaration B. So this you can see that the value before calling the function in main is 10 and 20. I am in function, its value 11, 20, and then again its value is 10 and 20. So this is one of the important concepts of the C. And this is known as call by value. This all functionality is known as a call by value. So that's ends our functions. Thank you.